Did you know that the trauma of domestic abuse can destroy you? Yes, it can. I want to share something with you that happened a long time ago, and it was so terrifying that I never forgot it. And it captures the craziness and the danger of domestic abuse. This is episode 18, and today we are going to talk about spinning out of control and what happens when domestic abuse nearly killed both of us. I have been married twice, and I refer to my former husbands as husband number one and husband number two. That's how I keep them separated in my mind. Well, when I first married, I was very young. I was only 19 years old. And we were still in college, the two of us. We were trying to balance school and marriage. And we really did not know what we were doing. Husband number one had a quick temper, and almost anything could set him off. We were constantly arguing. To tell you the truth, the only time that we weren't arguing was when we were in one of two places. We were either studying at home or we were in the library at the college doing some research. Those were the only two places that we got along perfectly fine, which of course, it's crazy. Besides having a quick temper, Vincent was very, very jealous and possessive of me. He didn't want me to visit my parents. He didn't want me to visit my friends. And he didn't even want me talking with our neighbors. Husband number one was not only jealous and possessive, he was suspicious of everybody. Vincent wanted me to be with him all the time. And yet, when I was with him, he wouldn't talk to me or treat me right. Like I said, it was absolutely crazy. Vincent and I didn't live on campus. We had an apartment in Philly, and we commuted back and forth from Cheney State College to Philly every day in Vincent's green 1953 Chevy. And oh, how that man loved that Chevy car. If only he had loved me half as much as that car, I think our marriage could have been saved. Well, one morning, we were commuting from Philly to Cheney, going to school in that green 1953 Chevy car. And Vincent and I were arguing as usual. I don't even know what I said or did that made Vincent so extremely angry with me. He was yelling, screaming, and cussing at me, and he was accusing me of things that I had not done. I really don't even know what he was talking about. Most of the time, I had learned to not listen. I had just tuned him out. And all the while we're driving down this highway, Vincent is fussing at me. And he was driving way, way, way too fast. And as I sat in the passenger seat next to him, um, he just kept going on and on and on about things that had no semblance to reality at all. He was in his own world. And he's just ranting and ranting. And all of a sudden, something just snapped in me. And I turned and I looked at him in the driver's seat and I screamed at him at the top of my lungs. I said, "Oh, why didn't you just shut up?" And I said it with an ugly face, and I meant exactly what I said. At first, it shocked Vincent. He was stunned for a moment, and to tell you the truth, I was stunned too. That reaction was so much out of my character. But then he caught himself, and then he got mad. You know what he did? Vincent took his hand and he handed me right across the face as hard as he could. Hmm. I forgot that he was still driving. And I'm telling you, I automatically slapped him right back across his face as hard as I could. And then, baby, it was on. We were actually physically fighting in the car on the way to school, down the highway. And I just can imagine how crazy we must have looked to all the other drivers on the road. But you know, to tell you the truth, at that particular moment, I could have cared less what we looked like driving down the highway because I was sick and tired of Vincent using me as his punching bag. And as Vincent was still speeding down the highway, he reached to grab me by my hair and to pull me around like he always did when we were fighting at home. But this time, when he reached for me, I ducked and he missed. And then the car swerved. I mean, in that split second, Vincent lost control of the car and he overcorrected, trying to bring that speeding vehicle back into its lane. The car swerved violently, spinning across lanes across the highway, and all I could remember were sounds of screeching tires and the blur of other cars as everything was spinning out of control. My life flashed before my eyes, and I just knew we were going to die. Seconds later, we hit something. I don't know what it was, but the next thing, the car was rolling over and over, and it landed on the top with all four tires up in the air. And the two of us were stuck inside of the car. Needless to say, the car was totaled. And by all human logic, Vincent and I should have been killed in that tragic accident. We should have died, but we did not die. And not only did we not die, both of us survived that wreck. God spared the two of us to actually walk away from that accident without any physical harm whatsoever. It was an absolute miracle. We both were able to climb out of that car through the window on the driver's seat. By the way, did you know that there was no such thing as seat backs back in the 50s, the late 50s? That's right. And it was only until about 1995 that all 50 states required that cars have seatbelts and that passengers uh, buckled up. But we were living then, and we're talking about the late 50s, and not only were there no seatbelts, there were no air bags either back then. And yet, we did not sustain any injuries or harm to either one of us. Nothing happened to Vincent, not even a scratch. And for me, I just had a small scratch on my right knee. And I'm telling you, we just thank the Lord so much that He had been so merciful and so gracious to us. As we climbed out of this demolished car, completely totaled, we just stood there, looking at each other, hugging, praying, and holding hands and thanking God for His grace and His mercy and for giving us, this crazy couple, married couple, one more chance, even though we didn't deserve it. That day, we promised to love each other better, to do better, and to save our marriage. And for a while, it worked. We did that. We drew closer, we stopped acting so crazy, and that car crash had made an indelible print on us. It had shaken us up. That fear had kept us tender towards each other. But as time went on, eventually the arguments started all over again, and that cycle of anger, violence, and hurt picked back up. And the vows that we had made on the side of that highway that morning were soon forgotten, and it faded into a distant memory. Looking back, I now see that crash was not just a close call, but it was a wake-up call for Vincent and me. God was showing me, I don't know about Vincent, but He was showing me His power to protect me, even though I couldn't protect myself. God was reminding me that my life mattered and that He had a plan and a purpose for my life beyond the pain that I was enduring. I believe God preserved my life so that today I could share my story with you. If my story has resonated with you in any way, if there's one thing that I said that could make a difference in your life, I want to know that wreck was the beginning of a new chapter in my life. And today, I believe that it can be a new chapter in your life for you too. If that story resonates with you, if it rings true, don't wait another day. You have survived long enough. It is time for you to heal and thrive. I want you to click on my website, www.jnvministries.org. And I want you to check out my online digital curriculum. It's called 7 Power Keys: How to Heal and Recover from the Trauma and Drama of Domestic Abuse. On my online digital curriculum, it will give you the exact tools and strategies that you need to rise, rebuild, and reclaim the life God has designed for you. So take that first step. Your future is waiting for you. Also, click on my website, www.jnbministries.org, and look for my ebook. It's entitled Testimony of a Kept Woman: From Misery to Ministry Instead of the State Penitentiary. My ebook is my memoir. It is the story of my life. And in it, it's easy to read, it's short, it talks about how I lived for 42 years in domestic physical abuse, the violence, the emotional and verbal abuse, plus the gaslighting, that psychological mind game that makes you doubt your own sanity. In this ebook, it tells how I survived and overcame all of the trauma, all of the drama that I lived through for so many years. And I actually, with God's help, I was able to move from misery to ministry. And it's proof that God can turn your misery into something that's great. Very soon, my book will be an audiobook, and you won't have to read it at all. You can just put it in your car or your other tape recorder and just listen. So I want you to subscribe and like my channel. And remember, this is Life After Trauma with Dr. Jan, helping you to take a stand and just put an end to all the drama. Just think of me as your second mama. Thank you for subscribing and liking my channel. God bless you, and I hope to see you soon the next time in another episode in Life After Trauma with Dr. Jan.